Alright, so recently I have gotten my 15th 7-star, and I feel like this is a good, benchmark point to rank all of them from worst to best, right? And this is, from my personal experience, so, some of these placements might not seem right to you, but to me, they are right because this is just, my experience with these characters, right? So yeah, let's just not waste any time. And with number 15, we have Killmonger. And this one kind of hurts because I love Killmonger a lot. I love the character, I love the design. But Unawakened Killmonger has just really kind of let me down. I think he's still pretty underrated on attack, even unduped. But his defensive value kind of just doesn't cut it unawakened. He is pretty tanky, but besides that, there's just, I feel much better overall. And on Battlegrounds attack, he's just really, really slow. But in questing, he's not too bad. But still, I feel he is probably my worst 7-star right now. But then again, he still is pretty decent, right? But yeah. Now let's move on to number 14, which is Sauron. And Sauron is one of my favorites for sure, but I can't be biased here. I mean, I will be biased, but I'm still gonna I'm still gonna play it pretty realistic, right? So yeah, Sauron number 14 here. He's weird. He is, I feel better on attack than Killmonger just because he kind of has some damage output and he can take some pretty cool fights because he has pretty decent damage output. But besides that, he's not too good. He's not too good. I mean, yeah, okay. His utility is really bland for sure for being a 2022 champion, but he is pretty good with Lyrical Masteries, and as a mutant quester, he is very, very strong because he has a lot of mutant tropes and he covers it really well. So yeah, overall, Sauron, pretty cool champion, one of my personal favorites for sure, and on defense, he's not too bad either, right? And yeah, Sauron, number 14 there. At number 13, we have Storm Pyramid X, and this one kind of hurts because I expected a lot more from her, but honestly, whenever I see her pop up in Battlegrounds, I just don't want to draft her because she is just so crit reliant, man, and it really does hurt her because her crit rate is abysmal, and even stat focus can't save it. So yeah, it's just really I'm really let down on that regard, and also on defense, she just gets stomped too because of her tiny health pool. So yeah, I haven't really been sold on this champion yet, but she does have some pretty good utility, the Purify stun counter, and also just having some pretty nice damage output for the most part, right? So yeah, she's still a mainstay on my deck for Korgs, Nick Furies, things like that. But when I have Domino and Danny Moonstar, I just go to them first. So yeah, Storm, number 13 here. And now number 12, this one is a bit surprising. I thought he was going to be higher, but honestly, I don't think so, and it's Mysterio. So Mysterio is really fun, and he has a lot of good utility pieces for sure. Some are really unknown as well, but I don't see myself using him that much as I expected to, right? His utility is fine. His damage output does take a bit to ramp up for sure. So in Battlegrounds, it's not too great, and in questing, he's still he's pretty nice for sure, but I just feel there are better techs out there in the 7-star pool, and on defense, Unawakened, he just doesn't do anything pretty much. So yeah, it hasn't been too useful there. So yeah, Mysterio, kind of disappointed, but also not really, if I'm being honest, because he's still really fun to play. But yeah, moving on to another tech champion, number, 11, we have War Machine. Now, War Machine, I am a big fan of. I think War Machine is fantastic, and I want to put him in the top 10, but I just couldn't because all these other characters are just really useful as well. But I feel War Machine is in that caliber of just being really, really good because he's been my mainstay for Dominoes, for Apocalypses, for a lot of different fights in Battlegrounds, and he just does it really, really well because he's really safe. His sustainability is quite crazy, it is really, really good, and the damage output is fantastic as well. So this guy just has a lot of damage output, a lot of utility, and a lot of protection, right? And in questing, really strong there. Just an overall really good champion. I feel he is still pretty dang underrated. So yeah, War Machine, number 11 for me, and now we have the top 10. And 10 for me is Silver Surfer. This guy has really surprised me for sure. I feel he is still just super underrated, and he just does a lot for me personally. In questing, really good quester. He has a lot of immunities, so yeah, that's pretty useful there. And additionally, he has access to some pretty nice damage output. But in Battlegrounds, he has been so surprising, man. He is so good for like the meta tech defenders like future Ant-Man. He just obliterates him, man. So good for that champion, and just a really good just regular damage output champ, I guess. I don't know how to really word it, but he just has some nice damage output, easy to play, not too like stressful to learn or anything. So yeah, just a pretty good champion overall. And yeah, really surprised by him, big fan of him, but there is another cosmic that outclasses him in my opinion, and that is number 9, Gamora. This girl is really, really good. She has a lot of damage output. Her utility is her utility might be on the lighter side, but she's still really strong damage-wise, and she has taken a lot of fights for me in, like, battlegrounds, right? Like, Nick Fury, she takes pretty dang fast. She takes a lot of, like, standard fights just really, really fast because her damage output is just crazy good. And in questing, she's really strong as well. Not a defender, unfortunately. Like, really not a defender, does like pretty much nothing on that regard, but still a really fun champion overall, and still just really useful for any like deck, honestly, I want to say, because her damage output is just amazing. There's no stress pretty much. Her her rotation is pretty easy, her durations are fine. There's just nothing wrong with this character, I feel like, besides maybe a lack of utility, which is why she is number 9, right? And on number 8 we have Domino, and this champion kind of annoys me, man, because sometimes she's really, really good. She's like top 5 worthy, and at other times she is worse than like Killmonger damage wise, and it's just because she is an RNG fest. And honestly, she might go up soon with the Mr. Sinister relic, because that does do a lot for her for sure. But right now, pretty good attacker. I use it for like the usual skill champions that like are pretty annoying on defense, but also I really like her on defense as well, even like unawakened, because she still can fail abilities and still is pretty annoying to deal with, and like, you know, pretty like decent health pool as well. So yeah, does a lot for me in battlegrounds. Questing with the Flaming Trinity, not too bad, but besides that, she doesn't see the most use there. So yeah, overall, pretty solid character. I wish she had less RNG to her, to be honest, or else she would be higher. And number 7, my newest 7-star, and not my only rank 2, I have one more, but that's a secret, but my first ever rank 2 is Venom, and he is number 7 on this list. So might go up with time as like I play him more, but for now he is number 7, and so far he has just been doing like some pretty good work for me in battlegrounds. His damage output, very strong. He is a really good bleed character, and like his access to buffs, armor break, immunity to power burn, which is really rare. All of it is just really, really good, right? So I feel like he is still a very strong cosmic character. I feel like his place in the game is still like pretty relevant. So yeah, overall, really cool character, and you know, rank 2 does a lot for me for sure. So yeah, big fan of Venom. I feel like he deserves his number 7 spot, and he might go up as time progresses. So yeah, number 6, this one might be a little bit controversial, right? But I feel like this is the right placement for her, and it is Dani Moonstar. So I pulled 7-star Dani Moonstar out of a Paragon Crystal. I got very lucky, and she is pretty dang good. I feel like she has a lot of potential for sure. I use her for like a lot of not usual fights, like, you know, Hulkling and all that. And yeah, like she just does some fights where you wouldn't think she'd be able to take them, but she does pretty well. And unduped Dani Moonstar, still very solid. She does not counter Nick Fury that well though, unawakened, but that's fine. And yeah, I feel like overall her damage output is great for like battlegrounds. Questing, it's not too good like questing wise. She does want to have like full synergies and recall masteries if you want to quest with her, but by herself, not the best quester, I feel like, because her damage output is really tailored towards like those smaller health pools, right? And additionally, she isn't the most utility like based character. She does have her falter, which is really good, but besides the falter and like some other quirky mechanics, she isn't like the most utility pack champion, right? So I feel like that's why she is number 6 here, because she is pretty good like on attack for sure, but besides that, her utility kind of lacking, but still a very strong damage dealer, and still has a pretty good rotation and damage window. So yeah, number 6, Dani Moonstar. And now number 5, oh wait, hold on, we're in the top 5 now, so these guys are my MVPs for sure. Number 5, we have Sasquatch. This guy is a mountain. He is a tank, he is a freight train, whatever you want to call him. He is so valuable, man. My unduped Sasquatch has been the MVP of my Battlegrounds defense It is no question. This guy just does so much for any roster he's added to because he just has so much health. And that just plays such a huge part in like Battlegrounds defense. And not only that, this man is also pretty good on the attack spectrum because his damage output is just pretty dang nuts. So yeah, like this man is just so good overall. His utility is a bit light, but besides that, this guy just has a lot going on for him, especially on the defensive side. Like 7-star Sasquatch, it doesn't get much better than that on the defense side of things, right? So that's why he's number 5 for me, because he has just done so much for me on that end that I just have to like pay respects to it, right? So yeah, Sasquatch, number 5 for me. Really useful character on defense. On offense, still pretty good as well. So yeah, just a sweet champion. And now number 4, we have Mcoc Chavez. Now this character, more attack based for sure, but even on defense, still really annoying. But Chavez has just done so much for me on like attack, man. She's such a strong attacker. She takes some really nice, like, you know, buff heavy fights like Hulkling, Future Ant-Man, she takes so well. Just a lot of buff heavy champions she does pretty well. And even like regular champions she can still take pretty easily. But not only that, just her utility is also really, really good. And just her damage output, fantastic as well. But on defense, really, really good as well. So she is like a dual threat like Sasquatch, but much better on the attack side, which is why I gave her like number 4 instead of number 5, right? So yeah, Chavez, strong champion. I would love to rank to her, but I feel like I would take up probably Sasquatch before her, but that's just personal preference, right? And now we have the top 3. These 3 characters have been doing work for me, man. And yeah, number 3 is Titania. So Titania is a really big fan favorite, and for a good reason. This character is really, really fun, and she is really, really good. She takes a lot of fights, like a lot of fights on attack. She has just so much utility, man, with like the Haymaker, so strong, the Stagger, good as well, and just like being buff immune, having some pretty great damage output. And she just takes like not only the mystic fights, but just any fight, I feel like, because the way she works, she can just take pretty much anything. If the opponent purifies, she doesn't care about that, right? Because her furies, they still stay even if the debuff is purified, right? So that's just really good. And yeah, on attack, man, she is just crazy, crazy good. She is a fun quester as well. She has a lot of debuffs, so she can be good for like some debuff lanes. And on defense, surprising, because her Haymaker is pretty annoying and it stalls time, and her health pool is absolutely massive, right? So yeah, Titania, very solid character, huge fan of the champion for sure. And on number 2, we have a secret champion, because I have not revealed this character yet, but they are my second rank too. If you've seen my streams before, you know who this is, so yeah, you'll know already. But to give some hints at the champion, very, very strong on attack. I feel like this champion is just purely attack based, but they are one of the fastest attackers in the entire game, and they just have a lot of value on like not only Battlegrounds, but just questing in general, because their utility is just made for questing, and the damage output is just perfect for Battlegrounds, right? And yeah, to just say one more thing, I guess this champion really just brings the heat. Yeah, this champion brings the heat, alright. That's probably obvious now who it is, but yeah, they are my second rank too, and I love them so much. And now we have the number 1 champion, who I think is the best 7-star just in general. Like, all 36 characters, this champion is the best. And it is none other, than Hulk. Hulk is just crazy on all accounts. He is just insane, man. I've never seen a better pairing of damage and control. This guy has so much control, and it lets him take so many fights I would never even think he could take, right? People would just call him damage output, but that is so wrong. He is not just damage output, he is a utility beast as well, and it's all thanks to his control. His stun is just way too good, honestly. The Hulk block rotation is just way too good, honestly. So damage wise, he's one of the best, like, you know, burst characters in the entire game. He just gets down like fights so fast, it is just unbelievable, right? His SP2 is just a killer. It just does so much damage output, and like his furies as well, it just leads to some bonkers damage output. But not only that, on the control side, his stun loop is just broken. It feels too good, honestly, but apparently they tested it and they just let it happen in the live server. And they might regret it now, but it's too late, right? We just have this crazy champion. That is one of the best, in my opinion, the best control champion in the entire game. I feel like he outclasses pretty much any controller. Just so strong because of the stun. And then there is the Hulk lock rotation, which is just beyond broken. Like, having the opponent not be able to do anything for, like, the entire fight is just a bit too good. But that's how he is. That's how he was designed. He is just too good, honestly. And I feel like he is not only the best 7-star, but also a top 5 science character just because of how strong his burst damage is and just how good he is at controlling fights. And that just lets him take so many different fights that he shouldn't be able to do, but he does because he is Hulk and he is incredible, right? But yeah, I can talk about Hulk all day, man. He is just way too strong, and I'm glad he's a 7-star because that opened our eyes to just how powerful this character is. And he is by far the best 7-star. In my opinion, the 5th best science character. Honestly, 4th best. Like, okay, Torch, Scorpion, and then it's just up for debate. I could put him number 3 if I wanted to, but I won't because people would hate me for that. But he is that good in my eyes. He is just so good. So yeah, Hulk, best 7-star in my roster and just in general, to be honest. And yeah, that'll be it for this list. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Let me know your thoughts on my 7-stars. I feel like I am pretty lucky overall. And yeah, how would you rank your 7-stars? And yeah, that's about it for me.